Those decisions that people make all around you, from what they wear to how they talk to how they dress to who they're with, they're all based on survival and procreation.
But temptations don't all over the floor. I get around, grab honey by the waist. Don't let that love get you wild. Please.
So let's go through what seduction is and where it comes from, right? And what are the driving forces behind seduction? Because if you don't understand seduction, then you're definitely not going to be a good seducer. And first of all, the bad rap that seduction gets is that it's all sexual, right? That is to seduce someone to have sex. That is not what seduction is. Actually, you can seduce anyone to do anything. The Latin root of seduction comes from the word seducere. Seducere, right? So S-E means away or apart. And ducere means to lead, right? So it's to lead apart or to lead away. And what they try to make it seem is that it's to lead away for sexual purposes, right? Is to lead them to want to have sex with you. But that's not what it is. You can seduce someone to buy your car. You can seduce someone to buy your house. You can seduce someone to vote for you. You can seduce someone to make you the leader. You can seduce someone to give you a promotion. You can seduce anyone to do anything. You can seduce someone to let you borrow something. You can seduce the bank to give you a loan. Seduction is to lead away or apart. So if you are a seducer, you are a leader. And when you become a good seducer, it's not just because you're attracting the opposite sex or because you're getting women or whatever. A good seducer is a good seducer everywhere. They're most likely people that are charming. They go, and everywhere they go, they get their way. Right? They go somewhere, they treat people great. They're good at seducing those people. They get free things because they're like, you're a Starbucks and they like you. They give you a free extra something. It's just being a seducer is not about sexual. Now, does it include that? Yes, but it's not the reason. That's not even what the word means. So that's first of all. And actually, I wanted to show you, if you go get an Amazon evolutionary seduction, I break down what seduction is really about. It's about evolution. It's about, without seduction, there are no humans. There is no human race. So go get that evolutionary seduction in Amazon. But what I want to talk about today is even further back. I want to talk about the driving forces that drive us humans, right? Which includes seduction. It's like, why is seduction even important? Why does seduction even exist? Now, let's talk about that. Let's talk about what are the driving forces in humans. Because if you understand that, a lot of things start clicking and make sense. There are two driving, and this is my theory, by the way. This isn't something, some people are not going to agree with all of this, but this is what it is. And until someone proves me wrong, my theory is right? So there are two factors that drive humans. There's two factors in my theory. There's survival and procreation. Everything you do is either to survive or to procreate. Everything that your neighbor does, everything your family member does, everything humans do is either to survive or to procreate. There is no other anything that you're doing anything for. You're doing survival or you're procreating. Now, let me know if you see something else. There's nothing else. These are the two driving forces. Now, let's break them down even further. There are three driving forces for survival. So these are the two driving forces for humans in general. Right? So these are the two driving forces for humans. This explains why people do what they do. If you really pay attention, anything anyone is doing is either to survive or to procreate. So survival has three driving forces, which is hunger, which is safety, or also comfort, or also maintenance, or basically health, right? Is you want to maintain your health and be healthy so you can survive. And the third one is lust. These are the three driving forces that drive survival. Hunger, obviously, if you don't eat, you die. But you need hunger. If we didn't have hunger, we wouldn't eat. So you need that driving force. By the way, these are three uncontrollable forces. You cannot control hunger, your need for safety, or lust. You can't control these things. So, but if you understand them, then you understand why your actions and why your desires are the way they are. You understand why you're hungry, why you're lustful, or why you need comfort. So hunger is that. It's pretty simple. If you don't eat, you die. So hunger is a mechanism that automatically forces you to search for food. Safety, comfort, maintenance, all of these things are about being healthy, right? So you want safety and comfort. For example, you need a shelter. If it's snowing outside and it's minus whatever degrees, you're going to freeze. You're going to die. So in order to survive, you need shelter that shelters you from that cold or the heat. If it's too hot, then you may die as well. So you need that comfort. You need the comfort in order for you to not die. Everything we do is just trying not to die. That's basically what life is. And everybody around you is doing the same. So that pain, when you're not comfortable because you have certain pain, either internal in your body, something's hurting, that's your body looking for that comfort because it's trying to survive. It's trying to, maybe you have something that needs to be taken care of, or if you get hit with something that could be damaging to you, to your survival, then you're going to have pain. Pain is the opposite of safety and comfort. It's that alarm system that's saying, hey, you're not comfortable, you're not safe. And then maintaining your health is important to that, because the things we do, go to the gym or eat good or try to live healthier lifestyle, all go to because we want to survive longer. It all drives there, and you can't control these things. You can't control pain. Pain is there. That's the alarm you can't turn off. There is no snooze button on pain, right? And then lust, self-explanatory. You have lust. You are lustful. You have a need for activity that leads to procreation. Because without procreation, our survival is done. The human race needs to survive. So we need to procreate. Because since we don't live forever, we need to create new generations of humans that will live the next batch, right? So lust is something you can't control. And lust adjusts based on your ability to procreate. So their kids, they don't have lust because they can't procreate. So that's turned off. And then it gradually increases as they become adult. And then when you get into an older age where you either can't procreate or your genes or whatever, they're not at the optimal health status for you to procreate. So your DNA is going to shut it down, and it's going to bring that lust down, right? So that's where lust comes from. And in procreation, if you're not trying to survive, then your actions are because you're trying to procreate. Procreation is obviously having children, but you need a mate, right? So what do you need in order to procreate? You need to attract. You need to attract. You need to get a mate, and it is not automatic, right? There's certain patterns, because in evolution, and like I said, go get the book Evolutionary Seduction, and I talk about why the best seducers are meant to be the procreators, because you don't want everybody having kids. You just don't. In nature, the strong should get with the strong and create stronger. You don't want weak DNA to continue on. And when I say we, I mean Mother Nature doesn't want that, because then that's counterproductive. All these years of evolution have happened because the strong gets with the strong, and slowly we become stronger and more resilient. So you need to attract a mate in order to procreate. So how do we attract? We have mating calls or mating signals. What's the difference? A mating call is the loudness of getting a new car so you can impress the girls, and you blast the music and you drive it real slow, and you have music blasting so women go, oh, who's that? Right? That you literally are mating calling. Mating signals is when you feel that vibe with someone and you start getting to know them, and they like you and you like them too. So you start throwing out signals. There's also non-verbal signals such as pheromones, like pheromones and other things that we can't control either, that are signals that attract a mate. And the mating call is getting the brand new car, getting the clothes, looking a certain way. It's even having money, right? Because having money is a mating call or even a mating signal, because when you have money, right, and you attract women because they feel you have money, or guys that have money and they're rich or whatever it is, then women feel that they can survive better with a guy like that, right? Do you want a guy that's out on the street that has no food and is trying to figure it out? Or do you want that rich guy that lives a comfortable life? It's a duh, right? You're going to go with that money guy because it's going to lead, women will believe that's going to lead them to survive better. To survive. It goes all back down to survival. So the all these calls and signals go into the procreation so we can keep surviving. The next thing is there's even dances, right? So humans, people look at animals and they have mating dances where, the peacock dances or what. Each animal has a way to attract the mate. And we have our way too. So that's why you see women on TikTok dancing. Do you think they're doing it because it's part of their religion? Or do you think they're doing it because they are attracting mates? Right? That's what it comes down to. They have an urge to do what they're doing. And people say, oh no, they're doing it for the money. It's like, no, that's a side effect of what they're really doing is that attraction. They're sending signals. And those dances are part of the getting men. If you go in the comments, you see all these thirsty men that do anything, to try to mate with that woman. So it's so animalistic that I think we don't even realize how dumb we look. Like if some other alien race came down that does things different, they would look at us like, wow, they're freaking animals. Like these women are dancing on a screen so that these men, it's crazy. So continuing on, so to procreate, you need attraction, and then you have to attract the mate with different ways of attracting the mate. However, procreation, it doesn't happen automatically, right? Because they're like, well, what about people that can't have kids? This is what happens. So your DNA is smarter than you. Your DNA, your genes, they're already programmed for survival. And some DNA is not optimal. Some DNA is miscoded. Some DNA malfunctions, right? So when that happens, that's when you have people that you can't have kids, right? And it's not making you a bad person or a worse person. It's more your DNA is already pre-wired to not do so, right? Not because you don't deserve it, not because of any of that. We're not speaking here. We're strictly biology science right now. We're not talking about the right thing or let's be inclusive. None of that. We're talking about biologically, you can't have kids, right? You just can't have them because your DNA already said no. This is in the gene pool that should continue. And that's just a fact of biology in the human race and part of some animals. Not all animals have offspring. Certain animals do have offspring. That's why all these animals try to get with that female in order to have offspring, but really only the right DNA is going to create that offspring. So that's one. And then if you look at all of it, we go back to survival, because maybe it's not about us. Maybe it's the next generation. we want the strongest DNA in the next generation so that they can survive, better. And people say, well, what about if everything we do is survival? What about people that end their lives? Well, how come they don't have the drive for all these things that want to keep them alive? Again, and this is basically, there's no research that has really been done on this, but until I'm proven wrong, this is a theory, is that DNA also malfunctions, right? That there are triggers within us, within our DNA, that are predetermined. Like if you are going to have a certain disease, right, and you get it, and your mom had it, and your grandma had it, those are passed down, their DNA. This isn't about karma, anything like that. This is your DNA is already programmed with certain diseases. It already has malfunctioning programs within it, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can't control any of these things, but what you can do is understand them, so you don't feel like a victim. Like, why do I get this disease? Why I can't have kids? Why I can't find a partner? Why can nobody love me? Because you know why? Love is a mental disorder. Love is a chemical imbalance. You know what love is? Love is what we created so that we can romanticize procreation. Procreation is so blunt. It's just animal. It's uncivilized, right? Love is that romance that we hide procreation under. So we say we're in love. We're not, hey, I got a mate and we procreate. We say we're getting married. We fell in love and we're getting married. That's a novel, right? So we fell in love and we're getting married, live happily ever after. Doesn't really exist. What it really is, hey, I found a mate and we're procreating and we're creating offspring, and it doesn't sound that romantic, right? So we created love to hide procreation under it. But really, love is just a romance. It's just a romantic way of saying procreation. When you look at it that way, then when you're seducing or you want to get a woman, then you're not thinking about love in the way that traditionally it is. You're thinking about, what I'm really doing is I have these lustful urges to procreate, so I think that this female will be a great mate. So I'm going to do certain things, say certain signals or calls in order to attract her so that I can procreate. And people, and there's another thing. It's like, well, what about people that don't want kids? What about people that they use contraceptives? Let me explain something. Everybody wants kids. It's just if they choose not to have it, doesn't take the desire to have them away. The desire is still there. That's why the prophylactics and all the contraceptive things are there, because if they didn't want kids, then they wouldn't have sex. But sex is an urge to procreate. So it's like, no, I just want to have sex. I don't want kids. It's like, you want kids, you just making the choice that financially or whatever the circumstances, you're not going to have them. It's a choice that you're making to go counter your intuitive lust. But the lust is still there because you're having sex to procreate. Now, if you stop the procreation process, that doesn't mean that the lust goes away. So, wanted to put this out. It gets deeper. It gets really deep. And this isn't about even psychology. This is about biology. This is, if you understand this, then you're not going to feel rejected when that woman says no, because it's all a mating game. It's all, you don't have the right calls or the right signals, then you're not going to be able to attract a woman to procreate. And then when you take that away from seduction, and I'm seducing you away from that seduction that we know of, because I'm leading you away, which was what seduction means, then you start looking at the world a little different, because now you start seeing that those decisions that people make all around you, from what they wear to how they talk to how they dress to who they're with, they're all based on survival and procreation. So if someone should watch this, or if you're a geek like me, Make sure you share this and subscribe, because there's a lot more to this. This is just the surface for you to understand that seduction is not a bad thing. And if you become a good seducer, it's going to help all areas of your life. Become a better salesperson, a better employee, a better businessman. It all includes a better family member. So till next time, peace.